Human has grown more and more dependent on the ever-evolving technology which undoubtedly contributed to the world's advancement and generously enhancing our lives. However, the extent of media technology's advancement is still questionable, for it may have driven more people indulging in the dark side of media. One of Britain's worst predatory pedophiles who targeted, groomed and abused up to 200 Malaysian babies and children, then shared images of his horrific crime on the dark web, has been handed 22 life sentences.
Believe the British teacher attacked up to 200 children and babies from vulnerable communities while he was travelling in Asia. He filmed himself carrying out the abuse. He set up a website to crowdfund his activities. He even wrote a guide on how to get away with it.
On 19 December 2014, the British police arrested Richard Harkle at London Gatwick Airport as he returned home from Malaysia to spend Christmas with his parents. He was found carrying a heavily encrypted computer and camera that contained over 20,000 images of child sex abuse and over 1,000 of which showed him committing offences including rape. Children specifically suffer higher rates of exposure to violence and crime than adults do, whereby 934 violent scenes within 193 prime TV shows were found aimed at children as young as 14. Children suffer a considerable burden of victimization, physical and mental health morbidity, specifically child maltreatment, neglect and emotional abuse. Being the center of child trafficking cases, Southeast Asia presents the most threatening cases of child victimization. There are many growing evidence that media, entertainment and internet are the new medium through which some commonly recognized forms of child maltreatment, sexual and psychological abuse may be pursued. Thus, not only that the internet becomes a playground for pedophiles to prey on children, but child victimization has also been normalized through media entertainment such as cartoons and video games. The age of 3 and 4 is an essential cognitive developmental phase whereby children tend to emulate the acts on screen and draws perceptions or values from these materials. Experts agree that various animated cartoons carry themes related to abuse and violence, be it psychologically, physically, and mentally, which contributed to children internalizing aggression and violence in their daily life, assuming these values as part of the societal norms. A little distinct from dark and mature humor, the Fairly Odd Parents and Happy Tree Friends use tons of violence that might not be suitable for young kids to witness as the comic relief.
It's violent and educational, but mostly violent. Yay!
For instance,
Violence!
Fairly Odd Parents follows the life of a 10-year-old boy named Timmy Turner who suffers from a miserable childhood surrounded by neglectful parents and an abusive babysitter. Notwithstanding the deceiving cute appearance of its characters, Happy Tree Friends has been regarded as propagandizing brutality and violence due to its gaming content featuring blood, gore, and violent deaths. These issues are carried in a humorous and manipulative manner that may lead children into thinking that abuse and violence in their household is normal. Although the internet was originally created with good intention, today it has become a medium to orchestrate heinous crime such as the sexual exploitation of children. Since Southeast Asia is emerging into one of the world's fastest growing internet market, the symbiosis between young children and online socialization should be closely observed as the internet has become a fresh platform for pedophiles to prey on children anonymously. Tech-savvy pedophiles initially groom victims through related communication media before exploiting the victims in obtaining the explicit sexual materials. Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, and the Philippines, due to the extensive poverty combined with neglectful law and judicial system, are recognized as the points of attraction of local and foreign pedophiles. As law fails to cater this online crime, the demand for live streaming of child sexually explicit materials continue to spur in Mekong region, Meanwhile, in the Philippines, children from low socioeconomic backgrounds were forced to perform live streaming sex for profit gain. Victims suffered from various consequences that impacted them physically and mentally. Studies identified that school absenteeism and poor academic achievements among victims are often linked with the rise in mental health problems, cognitive impairments, social skill deficits, low self-esteem and determination, inclusive of entailing rise in subsequent social problems. Chronologically, victimized children present psychosomatic symptoms followed by various degrees of mental health disturbance which may eventually lead to post-traumatic stress, thus isolating themselves from the community as they find it hard to develop attachment with others. The affected individuals tend to experience shifting of moods from terror, fright, irritation, humiliation, and guilt. However, fear and embarrassment becomes the barrier for victims from reporting the crime despite it haunting them a lifetime. From the Islamic point of view, a child is bestowed upon his parents from Allah the Almighty as a trust or amanah. With this trust comes responsibility. The responsibility of a parent include providing the child with a living environment that he or she can feel safe and is able to develop his or her individuality to achieve the best that life can offer.